All right, hello. Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you all. So today, going to be doing some more content development. So the goal here for Gunforged is to get all of basically get the game finished by the end of January, and then take the month of February to do a bunch of polishing, marketing, and stuff like that, and then have the game out at the end of February. So we are down to the final stretch here. So yeah, the streams are basically just going to be content development, and I've got a couple of things that I want to do, got a couple of things lined up for the stream. We'll see how much we get done, but yeah, before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that all the ways that you could support me are linked in the description below. Most notably, my Udemy courses are available, so if you'd like to financially support me as well as learn how to build a complete game in the Godot engine using either C# or GDScript, you can check out those courses below. Also, you can wishlist Gunforged on Steam and purchase that when it comes out in February. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, Emerson. Welcome back. I am doing well. How are you doing? Hope you're feeling better. I am feeling better. Yeah, I was just having a little bit of general malaise yesterday. So, but I'm not like super sick or anything. So that's good. Hello, Brian. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. Happy Thursday to you as well. Hope all is good with you also. Good morning, Christopher. How was your holidays? Mine were great. How are yours? Thank you for asking. Hello, Felipe. Welcome back. It's nice to be back. Let's rock this year. Yes, absolutely. Big year for me. Big year for me. According to my budget, this is the year where I run out of money, or it's the year where Gunforged sells well, and I can continue on into next year with making games. So we'll see. Big year. Make or break year. Your holidays are busy. Yeah, that's understandable. Got to go around and visit everyone and do everything. It's a very, very busy time of year. It's funny. It's like you work all year, but then the holidays end up being the busiest time. Anyway, I just always thought that was funny. All right, so the first thing that I want to do here is I created this lobber enemy, which throws grenades, and I think I can actually probably show this. So if I do, let's see, void level, I'll just go ahead and spawn the lobber in. He doesn't have a very interesting movement pattern, so I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to maybe, I don't know exactly what the movement pattern is going to be like, but right now I think he just makes a beeline to the player. Yeah, so he just ends up going straight to the player, which is not ideal. So we're going to see how we can fix that. I think it probably makes sense for the lobber to kind of, I don't know, I guess keep his distance, but probably needs a little bit more of an interesting attack movement pattern as well. He's just kind of like hovering along. The thing that I'm kind of unsure about is I like how slow it is, because it looks like he's weighed down by his satchel of grenades there. But I also want to add maybe like a zigzag pattern to him. All right, so I think there will be an easy way of accomplishing this. So what I'm going to do for this lobber, for the movement pattern. Hello, Dione. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you again. So what I'm going to do for this lobber here is, let's do a private const int min follow distance equals 64. Private const int max follow distance equals 128. I guess these can be floats. I don't know. Float. Okay, so min follow distance, max follow distance. And then let's do this. Private const float max degree change from player. Let's do 30. Okay, so what I'm going to do in the normal here, so it's just setting the target position to the player. So let's do this. Var player position is equal to this. Okay, var target position is equal to, let me try this. Let's see. If pathfind component dot can set target position, then we'll go ahead and do this. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Oops. Why is this? No, this should just be target position. There we go. And we'll put this in here. Okay, so var target position is equal to, let's do player position plus player position dot direction to global position times mathutil.rng.randef min follow distance, max follow distance, and then also dot rotated degrees. Oh goodness. This is getting very long. Let's simplify some of this here. Okay, so I'm just pulling that all that out here. Let's do direction here. Or let's do actually plus distance. Okay, dot rotated degrees, mathutil.rng.randef range. We're going to do negative max degree change from player divided by 2, max degree change from player divided by 2. Okay. All right. So then I can say set target position to target position. So basically what's going to happen is it's going to maintain a distance from the player of between 64 and 128 randomly, and then it's also just going to position itself away from the player. So there's going to be a vector pointing from the player to the lobber enemy, and then but that's going to be rotated either negative 15 degrees or positive 15 degrees, so a total of 30 degrees. And hopefully that just creates kind of like what I'm trying to do is create kind of like a hovering kind of thing. You know how like a mosquito kind of like comes at you like at the same spot, but then it like flies away a little bit, but then comes at you in the same spot. It doesn't like necessarily fly around you. It just kind of like flies away from you and then comes back. So that's kind of what I'm trying to emulate here. And so let's see. So that means that generally speaking, the lobber should kind of remain on the same side of the player. There's not going to be a whole lot of it rotating to get behind the player or anything. So let's see. I should make myself invulnerable, but... Ow. I might actually increase this. This is only 2 tiles, so let's do 96 instead. And then... Is 164 a multiple of 32? I think it is, right? It's not. No. It would be 160. Okay. So it's going to be anywhere between 3 and 5 tiles of distance away from the player, is basically what I'm saying. Spawn lobber. Let's get another one in spawned into. So you see how as I'm rotating around them, they kind of like, they stay on that side. Whereas the crabs are a little bit more like rotating around the player. But the lobbers are generally going to stay where they're at and just kind of hover. A little bit of moving in and out motion. I should probably make myself invulnerable so I can actually see what's happening. The other thing I want to do is I want to try adding a shadow component to the artillery bullets and see what that does. I think that would be good to add. Oops, I killed the lobber on accident. Just trying to get these crabs out of the way, you know? So yeah, I'm pushing into the lobber here and he's just like moving away in the opposite direction. And then he'll hover around. And then if I get too far away, he'll kind of put some distance here. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Let's put some on either side of me here. Yeah, I think that looks fine. So as I run around, they'll just kind of loosely chase me, and they don't really have a restriction on being in range before they lob their grenades, so they're just always going to throw grenades. Goodness, these guys are annoying. Not to worry. Okay, now do these have a good health? That's the question. They have a max health of 100. What's my gnome got? Health component 75. What about my crab? 60. The lobber has 100 health. I don't know if that's good. Probably will turn this down to 85. They maybe shouldn't be so tanky. Just maybe I should rework some of this tankiness here, but I think 85 is a good one. We'll just stay there. I know what you and others have said about refactoring the core of your game, but I have to. What I have now is not designed with the full scope in mind and just tacked on later. I mean, I think I think refactoring when the need arises is a good idea. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to when you reference what I've said about refactoring, but I do think that refactoring is a good idea once the problems are revealed to you. I think what can be a mistake is like over-architecting the code from the beginning, but I think the approach that you're taking is actually correct, which is that you build the game, you let it reveal what systems are going to be in place and what the architecture is going to look like, and then when all the inadequacies are revealed to you, then you can think, okay, like now you have all the business requirements, so to speak, right? You know that the game needs to do X, Y, and Z, and the way that you're currently doing X, Y, and Z is very inefficient and hard to work with. And so now you can design the system with the goal in mind of, I need to be able to facilitate X, Y, and Z in an easy, maintainable manner. So I think that's perfectly reasonable. Hello, Instakill Ann. Welcome back. Great to see you again. You just got level 25. Nice. Congratulations on level 25, or as they would say in the old MMOs, ding, right? So, grats. All right. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. All right, so let's see. So I think that's good. I think that's good for the lobber. So improve movement pattern of lobber. All right, so one thing that I want to try is adding, so to this artillery bullet component, I want to be able to add a shadow to it. Let me think. Add our shadow component. We'll just keep it by default, or we'll just keep it, yeah, default for now. And then what I want to do is get a reference to that node. So now the question is, how am I going to actually move the shadow component here? Start, let's see. We've got the travel time. I think the shadow just needs to move in a beeline from its starting position to its final position. So we've got the Y final here. Y initial, Y final. So we've got the destination. So I think, I mean, I might just try this with a tween. I might say var tween equals create tween. Tween.tween property. Shadow component. Global position. Variant final value is args. Artillery creation args dot destination. Duration is travel time. And then dot from global position. I wonder if it's going to be as easy as doing that. So we're going to tween that shadow component. I obviously need to be able to change that shadow size, but I'm curious to see if that's actually going to work. I'm not entirely sure, but let's go ahead and spawn a lobber and see. Okay, yeah, that actually seems to be working decently. So I think what I want to do, though, is plus shadow component dot position. Probably will also want to tween that scale. Radius, I mean. I should be able to tween the radius. Okay. Let me see if this works, though. So if I add the initial offset position, I can do this now. Offset it a little bit. Yeah, maybe I misremembered, but I have heard a lot from other game devs. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, there's a fine line to be drawn between premature refactoring and optimization, because you don't want to get stuck in like a endless loop of refactoring. That's something that I've had to refrain myself from doing as I'm getting close to the release of Gunforged. I've definitely been cutting more corners, but that's also a little bit more acceptable because like the game is not going to change that much. And so I may be cutting corners that would be somewhat unacceptable in earlier development because that's just tech debt that piles up and that can really hinder the development of your game. But since I'm fairly confident that there's a lot of things about this game that just aren't going to change anymore, I can kind of take the easy route and just kind of avoid refactoring things and just do things kind of messily for the purpose of getting the game out. So yeah, it's just it's a fine balance you have to strike there. Okay, so that shadow is looking great. So I'm gonna need to add some more customizability to this, but I think what I want to do probably is do like a scale tween, create tween, and what I want to do is take that shadow component again, and I want to tween the radius. Can I not tween that radius myself? Oh, I can. No, I can't. Do I need to make this public now? I think I need to make this public. I hope that doesn't mess anything up. Okay. So we're going to tween the radius property. We're going to go to shadow component.radius divided by 2. We don't need to do this from here. And then we're going to do, this has to be travel time divided by 2. So since it's a parabola, it's going to spend half of its time rising to the peak and half of its time falling from the peak. So when it reaches the peak after travel time divided by 2, we want the radius to be halved, and then we want the radius to return afterwards to what it should be, but same deal, travel time divided by 2. And this has to be scale tween. That was going to be an oopsie. Okay, so now let's see how that looks. I hope I didn't break anything. I don't think I did, but if all my shadow components get borked, then that's going to be a problem. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks great. I could maybe even make the radius. I mean, probably ideally I would make the radius shrink based on the height, but I think that's a little bit too complex. Again, like with the way, what I'm continually learning here is that all that really matters is that you're giving the player the impression of something. It doesn't necessarily need to be accurate. So like the shadows, of course, are not going to be accurate to the size of the shadow that would actually exist if I was doing it properly. But as long as I'm shrinking the shadow by a noticeable amount, then all that matters is I'm giving the impression of elevation by dynamically changing the size of the shadow. It does not have to be perfect, right? This is, I think I've mentioned this before, but this is something that I have to continually get over myself. I'm like, I have too much of an obsession with like making it work the way that it quote unquote should work. But really what you're doing is you're just crafting a series of impressions, right? You give the player the impression that something is happening. Doesn't matter if it's not physically accurate or whatever. I mean, obviously if you're making a physics game, then probably it needs to be physically accurate, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to need to go through all my artillery bullets now and address all this stuff, but that's fine. Okay, so let me think. So I can move this below. And then the shadow component, I should be able to move that and then also change the radius. There we go. Okay, so now I can change it in the individual scene. And now I should be able to see how it works. Hello, D-Rose Game Dev. Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you. Hello, Defected. Welcome back. Great to see you again. Refactor as an update. Yeah. Hello, Dabian. How goes it over in England? Does it get snowy over there? I'm currently under a snow warning. We're supposed to get, well, not me particularly, but my region is supposed to get several feet of snow, so that's great. Hello, Polaris. I wish you much fun and luck with this project. Really love it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Visuals. I do love visuals. Yes, indeed. Magic is the illusion of making something look real. You don't have to mathematically be correct. I think the impression is enough. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. Okay, let's see. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, look at that. That's great. Although the final position is not correct. The final position of that shadow. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe I just need to make this go down a little bit more. It looks good in the editor, but when it gets all crunchified by the pixel, maybe it's just not looking correct. It's going to snow here soon too. You must be close. Yeah. I'm in Ohio, so oh yeah, I think okay. Yeah, I think that was just an issue of my offset was not enough. That looks good. Oops. I should probably test it on this level here. We defeated illusions and added illusion to our spellbook. Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. The freaking spiral illusions. Why is that still not looking right to me? Is that offset not working? I guess I can do this. I can make it really obvious by, oops. I can make it really obvious by moving this way down. 90 degrees here in South America where I live. Oof. Oof. I guess it's summer for you now though, right? It's not a terrible summer temperature. It regularly hits 90 degrees here too in the summer. I take that back. I thought you were East Coast. Well, I mean, I'm Eastern time zone, but not East Coast. Okay, that looks fine to me. So yeah, the main thing is that the shadows are there now. So now the question is, what do all the rest of the artillery bullets look like that utilize shadows? That's the question. So now I need to go and check out the file system here. Might surprise you all to learn that it's cold and raining here in England. No, that can't be right. The humidity, yeah, humid summers are the worst. It's a little bit too hot. Should be something like 80 to 82. Yeah, usually it's like, where I live, it's like 80 to 82 degrees, or it's like 80 to mid 80s in the summer, but then like 90% humidity all summer long. It just sucks. It just sucks. I do not like summer. No offense though. All right, let's see. So I need to look at the rest of these artillery bullets here. Okay, yeah, so like the gargoyle artillery bullet, this. Let's move all this underneath so it's properly oriented. Move that here. This can probably turn down to 8. Lobber artillery bullet, I did that. Magma artillery bullet. Let's just move these down. Shadow component, again, we'll move that down. Probably 8 for this one as well. These ones are fine. These don't actually rest on the ground. So the only thing that really matters is that it's just positioned correctly when it meets the ground, and then they get destroyed immediately. Moss bullet. I don't know why I'm using... Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Shock grenade artillery bullet. Here we go. Shadow component. I'm actually going to change this scale Y there. And turn this down to 8. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. I guess we'll just see what happens. So, what do I want to do? Sorry, I'm trying to think. What is the best way to test all this? Oh, the mushroom artillery bullet. I forgot to do this one. Can't forget the mushrooms. This is actually going to be a really important one. Let's do 9 for this one. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. All right, let's try it. I'm pretty confident if it works in one case, it's going to work in all of them. So I don't necessarily think I need to test every artillery bullet, but I am going to test the gargoyle. So spawn gargoyle. Let's see if the shadow comes. Yes, perfect. Nice. Okay, perfect. So there's the shadow for that. Spawn mushroom. Let's see if these little mushroom bullets... Ooh, yeah, look at that. They got little shadows now that grow and shrink. That adds so much depth. Awesome. That's great. Okay, I'm fairly confident that those shadows are going to work just fine. So I'm not going to test every artillery bullet, but I think that... Oh yeah, I also wanted to just double check that the shadow components that I have did not change because I made the radius public. It didn't. Okay. Excellent. All right. So I'm going to call that good. Why are you moving animations around, Godot? Anyway, add shadow component to artillery bullets. Okay, so that's a huge visual upgrade, I think. Hello, Arion. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. In Texas, it keeps bouncing from 90 to 60 day to day. Yeah. Yeah. Some of you sound like you need some AC going to hurt without it. Yeah. Nice, chilly AC. The adding doesn't work on mobile? That's interesting. It's amazing how visuals just bring the gameplay to a whole new level. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Okay, there's one other thing that I want to do with these artillery. Lobber artillery bullet. So here, I want to make these grow when they explode. So begin explosion here. Where is that called? Where is that called? Begin explosion. Oh yeah, here. I'll just do another tween here. Create tween. Tween.tween property. Sprite 2D. Scale. Vector 2.1 times 1.5. Double duration is lifetime. And then I'll just do a tween.tween callback. Callable.from. Yeah, this will just be nicer. Instead of doing a tree timer, I'll just do this. Sweet. Why did that indent so much? Oops, did I do something wrong? Circle explosion builder. Oh. Oh, I guess it was just a highlighting error. Cool. All right. So we'll just do a tween for that. So it's going to grow. I want to do probably set ease. Ease type. Out. Set transition. Tween.transition type dot. I don't know. Cubic. Cubic is a good one. All right. Let's give that a shot. What's your advice for new software devs in this industry, since someone of your level sees entrepreneurship as the better option? So are you asking for if you have software development experience going into game development? I'm not entirely sure what exactly your question is or what advice you're seeking. So yeah, if you just want to clarify that, I'm happy to give you my opinion. That's not really that noticeable. I thought it was going to be more noticeable than that, but let's try a scale of 2. I just want to make it like grow and explode. Give it a little bit more anticipation rather than just being a static asset on the ground. I probably want maybe in. I used to understand how to properly use these ease in, ease out, but I seem to have forgotten it magically, so that's always fun. You ever just forget something? Like, I used to know how to do this, and now I don't remember. Okay, that looks better. Now that might be too much of a scale, though. Yeah, it might be too much. I wonder if I do a back here. Give it a little bit of bounce at the beginning. Nope, that doesn't look good at all. All right, we'll go back to cubic. Basically, I'm thinking software development job seems so unreliable for job reassurance. The level of time invested in learning these technologies and systems just to end up unemployed. I don't know. I'm not sure that I would agree with the assessment that software development is an unreliable job. I could have easily, like, I was a software engineer since 2017. So, and I lost my job in the middle of 2024, basically. So that's basically like, what, 7 years? 7 years I was fully employed across multiple employers without any hint of like job insecurity until last year. But I knew that that was coming because I worked for a very small startup that was, startups are very unlikely to succeed. So, I'm not sure that I would agree with the statement that it's unreliable career. I guess it depends on what market you're in and where you're located. But at least in the United States, like if you're a semi-decent engineer, like you can basically be employed full-time without issues. There's a lot of layoffs happening, I understand that, but I still think it's relatively easy to find a job. Hello, Nepal V. Happy New Year to you as well. Great to have you back. Okay, so let's see. I have employees who have been here for more than 15 years. It may be luck and industry dependent. Like Firebelly said, startups and tech that's running on VC money is unproven and less stable. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm getting like job, notifications from LinkedIn from like very big and established companies. And it's like, I don't really want to work for a big and established company, but if I really needed a paycheck, it'd probably be one of the easier places to go and work. The salaries won't be as competitive as they would in like a more of a startup environment, but it's like, it's all trade-offs, right? You could go for a lower salary with more job security by working for a really big company, and you're probably going to be working on some boring internal project that is going to be in development for a year and never sees the light of day. And so if you want to do that and just collect a paycheck, you can, or you can go in the startup field where, everything you do matters in some sense, but it's very unlikely that you'll be employed for a long time. So it's all trade-offs. But yeah, my experience is that the best experience I had as a software engineer was working at like a company of like 150 or 200 employees, because it's still got that nice, aspect of your individual contributions do make a difference and they make a noticeable difference, but it's also big enough where there's quite a bit of security. So yeah. Okay. Alrighty, let's take a look at this. That's done. All right. So let's see. What do we need to do? I'm trying to think of what I want to work on next here. I had a bunch of things lined up, but I do need to do this drag and drop for the gun part unlock screen. That's going to be a little bit kind of bleh, but also improve visibility of drag and drop areas in Gunforge UI. I need to do that as well. So right now, if I go to like the crafting table and I want to drag and drop parts, there's not a whole lot of visual feedback as to where you can actually put the part. So I think I want to do something about that. But I'm still not entirely sure what that's going to look like. But maybe I will work on that. Let's see. My product is not tech. Our dev team supports the revenue generating departments. Oh, very nice. Yeah. So building internal tools for like to increase the revenue generating. Do you enjoy what you do now? Is that a question for any key, Nepal? For me, the best part of my 15 plus years as a dev was as an entrepreneur, but at the same time is the most stressful. Yeah. Yeah. It's all trade-offs. It's trade-offs all the way down. Oh, the question was for me. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, like Felipe says, there's a little bit of stress involved because my ability to make money is entirely dependent upon me now. There's nobody sending me a paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever. So, and the income is quite variable as well. So, and that's, you know, basically what I did is, since most of my income is coming from Udemy, I just basically said, okay, well, I'll just take the lowest payment that I expect from Udemy across an entire year. Like, what is the lowest number that I would expect? And then I also subtracted money from that number. And I said, okay, this is the baseline amount of revenue that I should expect every month. Like, quote unquote, guaranteed revenue. I don't want to use that word. It's a scary word, guaranteed revenue, but that's how I modeled it. Anyway, there's a lot of stress involved. Not a lot of stress, but there's a lot of, I guess, consideration involved with, you know, making sure to manage my time and money well. And that's the other thing. It's like, I don't have time to spend a lot of time just goofing off, right? I can't be in a situation where I'm just making a game and then giving up on it and making a different game and like dropping prototypes. Like, I actually need to create something that can be sold, because otherwise I'm going to run out of money. But that's kind of fun in its own way. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I definitely am. And we'll see if I'll be able to continue to do it. But as of right now, I'm having fun. It's nice to do whatever you want, but it's hard to do whatever you want. Yeah. Today my brain is hurting my typing. That's all right. Engineering margins, pad the direction that hurts you the most. Right. Right. Yeah, what I did for my budget is I drastically, not drastically, but I pretty significantly underestimated the amount of money coming in, and I also overestimated the amount of money going out. And that's exactly right. It's just like pad in the directions that hurt you the most. Okay, let's maybe try some things with this drag and drop UI. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to look, but so basically there's this assembled gun drop area here, which can accept drop data for the gun part. So let me just let me do this. Dungeon arena, debug mode. So I'm just going to go into this and see what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right, so in here, so I can drag and drop a gun part over here, but I get no feedback when I start dragging. Like, none of these areas get highlighted or anything. So I want to experiment with just making it obvious that these things are where you should drop the thing. But I'm not entirely sure what I want those visuals to look like. Probably add some kind of animation to it. and a highlight when I highlight over it. I think that would be helpful as well. So yeah. But yeah, it's kind of a question. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to look like. Maybe I can add some kind of... I wonder how easy it would be to do like a marching ants outline. Is that possible? Let me look it up. Animated selection rectangle. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah, like that kind of thing. Pixel width, pixel length. I would need the, let's see. Is this something that I want to use? CC0. That's public domain. Great. So I don't need to credit anyone. It's mine. Let me just see. I'm just going to plop this in and see if it works. Let's see. Material. Whoops. Shader material. New shader. I'll just do built-in for now. That doesn't seem to be working at all. Let's copy this material. Add child node, color rectangle. I have better luck with this a lot of times. Paste. There we go. Now, obviously, I don't want it to look like a Photoshop marching ants, but... Hello, Snupbill. Thank you so much for the IDR 20,000 super chat again. That's very generous. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. If you're in college studying CS, I'm not, but let's just say I am, is making a live production game like you are good for your resume? I'm not sure. I imagine it would be. I mean, it's certainly like, I mean, if I'm a hiring manager at a company and I see one person who's got a CS degree and then one person who has an equivalent degree, but they've also like made and shipped some products, like any products, whether it's like an app that you've made or a game, I'd probably favor the resume of the person who's actually made stuff, because that indicates like some kind of, that indicates an interest in actually building things rather than just having the credential. So I'd probably, I mean, I would say it can't hurt. That would be my opinion, but I've never hired anyone, so I don't know. It would be nice to have a grenade launcher based gun, Firebelly style. What made you go with the protagonist design? So grenade launcher, yeah. Grenade launcher, I think I have something like that written down that I want to make, but what about the protagonist design? Yeah, I mean, the original idea of the game was going to be like, and this is before Wizards with Guns came out. So the idea was going to be it was a wizard with a gun, and that like it was kind of, you know, the world being magical and fantastical, but all centered around guns. And so I initially had a character that was like a wizard with a big hat, and then I didn't really like that character design. As like, well, what if it was like a crazy wizard, right? What if it was like a wizard who is like all disheveled and just kind of, you know, like he's lost his mind, but he's still got like this magical presence, right? And so that's how the character kind of morphed into just like this old guy with a bunch of crazy hair. A lot of those themes have fallen away now, but I like the character design. It's like, how often do you get to play as a crazy old man as the protagonist? So I'm going to keep him. I've gotten several comments like on the demo feedback. Several people have said, I don't like the character's design at all. I don't want to play as him. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's like, I understand that. Well, it's actually very instructive, right? It's like people will actually not play a game because they don't like the design of the main character, which is something that I've never really paid much attention to, but maybe it's something I need to start paying attention to more. I just thought it would be funny to play as an old crazy guy, because you never do that in any game ever. So, but I guess there's a reason why no games let you play as an old crazy guy, because no one wants to do that. So anyway, it's kind of funny. I'm not changing the character's design. I guess those people are just not going to buy the game, which is fine, but I personally care more about projects an applicant can talk about over credentials. Yeah, that would be my suspicion as well if I was a hiring manager, for sure. Does Gunforge already have a lava gun? How hard is it to make one? Kind of. It's got like a dragon gun. Yeah, there's like a dragon gun that uses particles as the bullets, for sure. So I think that maybe matches what you're thinking. I was watching the old devlogs. Is the turtle zombie thing still in the game? I think the concept is really cool. Yes, he's in the graveyard level. He doesn't show up very often, but there he is, zombie turtle. Yep, he's still there. I just don't do a whole lot of graveyard gameplay on the streams. Mostly I'm just sticking to the dungeon level. So you actually don't see quite a bit of enemies. I mean, rarely do I show the skull on stream, you know? This thing, which I might end up redrawing. What are some of the other enemies that are in the graveyard? I forgot already. Graveyard arena. Oh, skeletons, yeah. Skull, zombie, the slime. Yeah, we've made the slime recently, and the cannon goblin as well. Wait, I didn't add the cannon goblin here? Oops. I never changed the weight either. I have to do like a whole bunch of playtesting. I'm basically not doing much playtesting at all until all the content for the game is done. Then what I'm going to do is just play the game a whole bunch and write down all the problems that I have with it, all the things that need to be tweaked. So that's kind of the approach I'm going to take, is play it a bunch, write down a bunch of notes, then just go down that list one by one, address each item, and then do a bunch of playtesting again. And I'm just going to kind of do that and just kind of keep refining it. I'm going to be sick of playing the game by the time I'm done with it, but I think that's probably necessary. Anyway, back to the marching ants thing. So if I do shader parameters, ant color 1, so that's fine. I want to move this alpha to 0. Ant width, we're going to make that real big. Ant length, we're going to make this real big as well. Yeah, I'm thinking if I make this like something bright yellow like that. Ant speed. Double the speed, and then let's do 100 for the length. I'm going to make the thickness even more. Oh, wait. I should probably... Maybe 4 is alright? I mean, let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this needs to be 2. This probably needs to be like 16. It's deceiving in the editor here, but in the actual game, it's going to be different. I think that'll work. Let's see what this looks like. Just change some colors around. That's what I do. Yeah, I think that's a good approach. Cool, the enemy variety feels great. Thank you, I appreciate that. I think the initial storyline and character fits very well. IDK by people like skeleton-based protagonists, but yeah, at this stage, go with how you feel, but the protagonist of the story could play a big part on the sales hook. Yeah, I still need to decide if I want to add like a little bit of story into the game. Not entirely sure. Okay, so I think this is probably... I can probably make this work. I think I just need to go with, yeah. Just do an alpha of 0. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go to my assembled gun drop area, and I need to have a way of enabling this, so let's see. Margin container, let me do this. I'm just gonna go ahead and lift this color rect right out of there. And the thing that I need to do is I need to add a margin container here. Ants container. It's so funny that these are called marching ants. That's actually... Anyway, doesn't matter. Color rectangle. Okay. So I'm just going to use a margin container to offset all these things. Okay, so there's our ants container. I want to change the mouse to ignore. Cool, so this ants container needs to be visible when something is being dragged. Now, how do I actually know when something is being dragged? How do I know when something is being dragged? Drag began. Is there a notification drag begin? Okay. Else if what equals notification drag begin. If get drag data get viewport dot get GUI, or is it GUI drag data? GUI get drag data is not equal to null. Actually, I can do this. Well, oh, get drag data here. I have this little method where I can pass in that variant and then it will do the proper checks. Okay, so I need node private margin container ants container. Ants container dot visible is equal to true. And then else if what equals notification drag end, we'll just set the ants container dot visible equals false. So let's see what that looks like. Actually, I can probably go to the Gunforge UI here and just do that. I need to first, though, turn that off by default. All right, let's see if that works. Hello, Raphael. How's the project going? I have a little difficulty in pricing my work. How did you come up with values for your courses and the value of your game? So, first of all, my project is going well. Thank you very much for asking. I am planning to release very shortly, so that's great. But in terms of pricing, so yeah, pricing is very difficult. So for my courses, honestly, I started off underpricing my courses when I was new to it. And mostly that was because the worst thing that I could have done as a new course creator is overprice my work, because that would have just like stopped me from producing courses dead in the water. So I wanted to err on the side of underselling myself versus overselling myself, because I was mostly interested in getting sales and getting my reputation sort of built up, right? So I think whether it's your first product or not is a consideration that you can make in terms of the pricing. It might be, depending on what you're doing, it might be better to just underprice it a little bit if it's your very first thing that you're offering for sale, just as like a hedge against, you know, turning people off just because you've overpriced it. And then after that, I felt confident just sort of increasing the prices of my courses based on the feedback that I was getting. I got a lot of comments, people saying that they would have paid double what they paid. So those are good indicators that people, like if people are expressing that, oh man, your course was a steal, like that's a good indicator that maybe it's underpriced. And so I can bump it up a little bit. But then I also kind of just based it on how long the course is, right? So I said, well, this course is X many hours, but I have 6 more hours in this course. So is that worth an extra $20, right? Things of that nature. As far as how I'm going to price Gunforged, I'm just looking at similar games in the genre that have similar features and what they're priced at. And I'm just going to kind of pick a good number in there. This is a little bit more of a crapshoot for me because I haven't really effectively priced games in the past. But I think I have a good number in mind for Gunforged. And of course, if you do end up overpricing it, you can always just run frequent sales on Steam, like frequent discounts. And that can kind of offset the error of making it too expensive. But yeah. Here in Brazil, your courses are practically free. Yeah, the other thing about Udemy is that they control a lot of the pricing for me too. So I kind of set like my desired cost, but they will adjust it based on the market. Because Udemy is interested in selling as many courses as possible, right? And so that benefits me too. So I'm basically just trusting Udemy that our interests are aligned, that they want to sell as many of my courses as possible, and I want to sell as many of my courses as possible. So Udemy largely takes control of the pricing in a lot of ways, but I'm okay with that because it's, like I said, our incentives are aligned, right? I'm trusting Udemy that they're not, like, the reason why it might be practically free in Brazil is because people wouldn't buy it otherwise. So getting, 1,000 sales in Brazil at a very low cost is better than getting no sales in Brazil at all, right? So Gunforged, a gun builder roguelike where you play as Uncle Grandpa, a crazy old man who got dropped into a dungeon and who onto any monsters that run into him. Easy, straight to the point hook. That's a good idea, yeah. Yeah, like I'm thinking of like a crazy old man who's like convinced that all of these fantasy monsters exist, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about, crazy old man?" And he goes to sleep one night or whatever and wakes up in this world, and he's like, "I knew it," and like he's just goes on this rampage. It's kind of like a Doom-esque, right? Like a descent into the fantasy or the underworld, where it's just like overcome with a desire to destroy all these creatures. Like kind of like it's almost like an Alice in Wonderland kind of hook, something happens that transports them into this strange world. A little bit of story would be nice. Yeah, I got to think about it some more for sure. I understand. Thank you very much. I love the Godot course. I recently just made my first mobile game, and now I'm making a roguelike similar to a space shooter. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Yeah. Very happy to hear that. I think it's a fair price thingy. It depends on the country of the purchaser. Yeah. Like a Steam game of $20 or $7 here in Philippines, right? Yeah, they will do local adjustments, like market adjustments. And that's just true of any product, digital or physical. Because it's like, if you want to sell a product in a country that's not as wealthy as Europe or the United States, you have to offer it for a lower price, So, yeah. It's very complicated. It's very complicated, but yeah, anyway. Yes. Okay, now. Okay, so now I wonder if I can add like a little bit of animation here. I'm curious. Let's see. Like if I rotated this. Like give it some more, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to look good, but we'll try it. Actually, I need to go take a quick break. I'm 10 minutes late for my usual mid-stream break, but that's all right. Right now, the CSAR course is being sold for $4 USD. What a steal! You hear that, everyone? Go buy it if you're in Brazil. I have no idea the full price that it should be. $7 here for the course. Yeah. Purchase the course promotion is really basically free. It's good to understand the didactic is good, and I'm a dummy. No, don't say that. No, it's fine. I mean, yeah, I would rather people are able to purchase my course from other countries rather than just kind of like force, you know, US based pricing on them. So anyway, I'm happy with how the courses are performing for sure. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then we'll continue on with this UI animation stuff. But before I go on my break, we've been talking about my courses. Those are linked below. So if you're interested in picking that up, go ahead and do so. It's much appreciated. And you're going to learn a lot about Godot development if you pick up those courses. Also, this game that I'm working on, Gunforged, is going to be out soon. So you can wishlist it on Steam. You can also play the demo and give me your feedback. So give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back and we'll continue on working on this UI animation stuff. All right, let's continue on. My English is not good, but I understand a lot of things. The hard is remembering. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, your English is fine. I can understand you for the most part, at least. But anyway, let's see. So I'm going to start this animation. So I want to rotate this a little bit. I'm just going to try it. Var tween is equal to create tween dot tween property. This rotation degrees. Final value -3 over 0.5 seconds. Then 3. Tween.set loops 0. Hello, Pocket Pixie. Happy New Year to you as well. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. I haven't seen you since last year. Anyway. Let's see if this animation looks any good. It is really snowing now. What do you guys think? Should I make a DoorDash driver drive through this to deliver me a double quarter pounder with cheese? Oh, that's not correct. It looks pretty good though, actually. If I just centered that pivot offset. If I center that pivot offset, it should look all right. Yes, make them go through the snow. For cheeseburger, yeah. Get a can of soup from your pantry. I do have soup. It's several years old though. Like when the whole when the pandemic started, I went to the store and just bought a ton of soup because I didn't know. I didn't know if the grocery stores were going to be stocked. I didn't know if everyone was going to die. And I still have soup from that because the grocery stores actually did remain stocked. And give a $2 tip. No, Pocket Pixie, you're a bad influence. Last year's jokes are the best, yeah. Please create a Discord server. I may do that after the release of Gunforged. Please make a Patreon. I may do that after the release of Gunforged. I don't know. I was thinking about doing YouTube memberships instead of Patreon. I mean, I understand that you get more revenue from the Patreon, but yeah, I don't know. I have to do a lot of thinking. I'm like monomaniacally focused on getting Gunforged done right now, so I don't really want to spend the energy setting up a Discord and a Patreon or YouTube memberships or anything right now. I think I want to release Gunforged. I want to see how it does. Hopefully Gunforged, the sales will give me a little bit of breathing room, and then I can kind of like take a couple weeks to set all this kind of stuff up, but oh no, don't do that. What's wrong with Patreon? There's nothing wrong with Patreon. Patreon for DLCs. I just think, like, you know, the thing with Patreon is that, I don't know, I feel like I feel like you kind of have to do some kind of exclusive content. And if I did exclusive content, it'd probably be videos. But then if I did video content, I might as well just make YouTube memberships and make the videos members only, you know? So, but there's also a consideration to be made of like, do I want to have all of my income from such a thing hinging on one provider of YouTube? So I don't know. There's all kinds, like this whole world of making money, like digitally, like is, it's very interesting. There's a lot to think about. You know, I mean, I'm dependent on Udemy right now. So if Udemy ever decided that they didn't want to host my content anymore, I'd be screwed. I mean, I could upload, I mean, I have all the course content. I could upload it elsewhere, but the DoorDash driver has to accept the order, yeah. Actually, what's really funny is like the McDonald's is not far from my house at all. So it's actually not that, like a $2 tip is actually quite generous based on how far it is. I could probably walk there. Anyway, I'm too lazy though. So let's see. Oh, I'm running this. Let's see. Obviously that needs to stop. Private tween rotation tween. Oops. So let's do this. I'm mostly just messing around right now. Trying to get something that looks halfway decent. What's the best way to learn Godot C# API? I would say probably just reading the Godot docs. I mean, if you're already familiar with the Godot API through GDScript, then it's really no different. It's just the names are different. They, instead of using snake case, it's used as Pascal case. And there are differences when it comes to connecting to signals and whatnot, but for the most part, it's actually very similar. So. I mean, I think that looks okay. Maybe I'll make it an even lighter rotation. Hello, buddy. Come here. Oh, also 4.4, you could set the documentation to show the C# APIs in the editor. Yeah, that's cool. That'll be very useful. By the way, you were talking about the lore earlier. What are your thoughts on getting inspiration from novels? I think it's fine. I mean, I think... Oh, sorry. I was like, where did the cat go? I think getting inspiration from anywhere is fine. I mean, I obviously don't want to just like completely wholesale copy things, but yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. You know, I think all the creative disciplines kind of can play off of each other. I mean, you've got movies that are inspired by novels. You've got probably novels that are inspired by movies, honestly. You know. Have you heard of Chickensoft? I have not. Is that a game publisher? So that's immediately making this look a lot more interactive. I should probably do an animation when you like slam it down too. Wonder if I can do that. So let's do this. Start drop anim. All right, let's do this. Let's rename it to play. Private void play. Well, play can drop anim. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Okay. Chickensoft is Godot C# plugins. Oh, interesting. I have not. What kind of plugins are there available for that? Because I've got my own like C# library that I'm using quite regularly, but can you tweak the shader prop like width, size, and so on? I can, yeah. Is there anything specific you're thinking? Like I could tween the color perhaps. Make it shift between white and yellow maybe? That would be interesting. Play drop anim. Tween property. This scale vector 2.1. Let's do 0.4 seconds or 0.3 seconds. Dot from 1.5f or 1.25f. Set ease type dot out. Set transition tween dot ease type dot or transition type dot back. Okay, let's see if that works. That did not work. Oh, is it? Oh, they're errors. Type mismatch. What do you mean type mismatch? Azir, what are you doing, bud? Where are you going? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Neozoid, for being here. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope to see you again in the stream tomorrow. 2 cats in cam. Yeah, I gotta get the other one. Where's the other one? She's sleeping. No idea what to do. It was just a general question about tweening the shader properties. Yeah, I could definitely do that. It's a pretty Siamese. Thank you. Well, he's a Sphinx, but he looks like a Siamese. He's got the same pattern. Okay, all right, buddy. I'm streaming. Anyway. I mean, that looks kind of good. I guess I need to change the scale again. I don't want the scale to exceed the width, though. Kind of limited in how much I can do here. I mean, that's kind of good. Let's see. Slow down the animation a little bit. I could also maybe make that not extend edge to edge, so I have some more space. That looks good. Yeah, I wonder if I just make it not extend edge to edge. Let me think. Assembled gun drop area, layout, container sizing, shrink center. So if I shrink it to the center then, I'm not actually sure if that's going to look all right, but we'll see. Looking for VOD? Okay. VOD will be up. Did you used to work in the game industry with an employer? I did not, no. I've never worked in the game industry professionally, so this is my first attempt at doing so. I don't really like that not stretching edge to edge. My goal is that I can just be full-time employed myself. Oh, those rotations need to be reset too. Do the play drop anim after so I can set the pivot offset again. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. I could always do the scale the other way. The most basic animation would be a line width going 0 to make it disappear. Oh, for the marching ants. Were you a software developer employee? Yeah, I was a software engineer, software developer for like 7 years, working at a couple of different companies. But yeah, that was my full-time career prior to this. Hello, Glitch6. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Sorry for all these random questions. No worries. What do you think of AI-generated games, specifically Genie 2? I'm not familiar with Genie 2. I would say that I think with respect to AI generation generally, I think it's like anything where it's a tool and it's probably, AI is probably going to become some part of game creation. But I still think that like other applications of AI, there still needs to be a human doing the work to put everything together, right? So AI assisted like content generation, whether you're talking about textures or models or whatever, or dialogue or voices even, I think it's going to become a very common part of game development. But I still think that there needs to be a developer with a vision that uses those tools to bring that vision into to life, right? I'm skeptical that I don't know anything about Genie 2. So I don't know if Genie 2 is just using AI assets, but I think that you can't really let the AI drive the decision making or the vision, because then it's just going to look like slop. You still need a developer with a vision, with an art style in mind, with a story in mind, with mechanics in mind. But then I think AI is probably going to become a huge part of like generating the code and the assets and all that. But we'll see. Change color, something else while the mouse is above the drop zone. Oh yeah, that could work. I had an idea, a glue gun, a gun that slows enemies or has a slow attribute, like it damages and slows the enemies. I already have some, I mean, it's a good idea, but I already have something like that. The oil gun shoots globs of oil, and the oil status slows enemies. So I kind of already have that. Obviously, thematically, glue is different, but I'm trying to make the guns both thematically and functionally different from each other. So any new gun that I add should be unique in terms of its theme and also what functionality it has. I don't want to make a bunch of guns that feel the same. What am I doing? Oh, right. I was going to set this back to full width because I don't really like how this is looking, because then this thing looks weird. I mean, I suppose I could move that. indicator. Yeah, I'm gonna switch this back. I mean, I think... What happens if I reverse that? Reverse it so it shrinks inwards. Time to make a diaper dispenser, then a diaper explodes poison. Oh goodness. That would be hilarious. What is your favorite gun so far? My favorite gun so far. I really like the dragon gun. I also like the popcorn gun quite a bit, but probably my favorite one is the bubble gun. It shoots like little soap bubbles. I think that one's hilarious. I've got some more like funny gun ideas though in the works, so. Okay, I think maybe this needs to be more exaggerated. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that this is gonna work. I might have to think of something else. Or maybe I just gotta move this indicator here. I actually don't know where this indicator is coming from. Oops. The indicator's there. Not part of the assembled gun drop area. Well. Oh, that looks fine. Yeah, that looks fine. So I still got that like bounciness that I'm looking for, but it doesn't exceed the boundaries of the ingot. I'm gonna turn down the I'm gonna turn that back down to 0.3 though. It's a little bit too lethargic of an animation for me. So let's see if that one looks good. Also, I had a question. Are the enemies' bullet patterns inspired by bullet hell games? Yeah. Yeah, are you referring to like the big patterns, like when the zombie tycoon shoots like $ shaped bullets? I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of inspiration, generally speaking, from bullet hell games. I would kind of almost consider this game somewhat of a bullet hell. Maybe not entirely. I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know exactly how to classify Gunforged. I mean, I guess it's like a roguelite twin stick shooter bullet hell, like Brotato kind of style game, you know? It's got like a bunch of different influences. Okay, I'm gonna try changing the color of that. So the marching ants here. Material, shader material, resource, or shader parameters. Shader parameter, ant color 1. Let's try this. Color tween. Color tween equals create tween. Color tween dot tween property. We're going to tween property of ants. We need the ants. Marching ants. I need a reference to this. Tween property marching ants dot material. We're going to tween shader parameter slash, what was it called? ant color 1. And we're going to tween it to colors.white. And then over 0.2 seconds. Actually, let's do this. Private color, default ant color. Let's do new. Grab a default ant color there. Oops. Oh, dang it. Okay. Default ant color. So dot from. Okay. So now it's going to be oscillating between white and yellow for the color. I could also change the color when I hover over it. That looks good. What happens if I do this? I wonder if I change this to be like 0.5 and 0.5, so a lot slower. But then if I can drop data, or I was thinking about speeding this up when the mouse enters this area. Let's try that. Oh, I don't know why I did that. Mouse entered plus equals on mouse entered. On mouse entered. Color tween. Set speed scale to point, or let's speed it up by 3. Private void on mouse exited. Color tween dot set speed scale. Set it back to 1. So the color oscillation should speed up when I'm hovering over it. It is what it is, yep. One of my favorite games that does that kind of bullet hell style is Enter the Gungeon. Yeah, I think this game was originally supposed to be like a clone of Enter the Gungeon. But that did not end up happening. Didn't work. Hello, Alex. How am I doing? I'm doing well. How are you doing? What's new? Nothing much. We're in the new year. New year, same game, you know? Still working on Gunforge, but it's going to be out soon, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Is this even working? This is probably not working. I bet you the mouse entered signal does not fire when you are dragging something. But let's go ahead and verify that. Oh, it does work. It does work. That's fascinating. So is it just not working? Or am I not noticing it? What happens if I set that to 10? Or maybe that does not affect... Does that not affect in progress tweens? It must not affect in progress tweens. Yeah, I don't think that affects in progress tweens. Let's see. Okay. Well, what I could do is I could do this. And then in here I can say create color tween. Create color tween 10F. Oops. Goodness, I can't type. Okay. So I'm basically just destroying and recreating the tween. So I should have like a really fast blinking, what you call it? Marching ants when I hover. And then slower when I leave. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I obviously don't want it to be that fast, but... And when I hover over it without dragging anything, then it shouldn't do anything. Okay, so that's looking good. Now let's do this. Let's slow this down some more. And then let's do 3 here instead. Could even use different colors for this, I suppose. Maybe like green or something. I wonder if I should do that. Or color. Oh, I can't do that. Oops, default color there. Okay, so let's create a color for the hovered ant color. Let's go ahead and choose one of my lovely colors from here. I guess we'll try that green first. All right, let's see. Oops, wrong one. Ah, shoot. It's changing the color of both of them. A classic Godot oversight. This needs to be local to scene. And I also probably want to use a darker color here. A darker green. We'll do this one. Then I'll probably do the same thing, honestly, for the other drag and drops. Just kind of make this marching ants area. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Might be too noisy if I make that for everything. But I think I do want to do some more animations and whatnot when I'm dragging and dropping things. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, that's definitely much improved. So now you as a player should know that as soon as you start dragging this, oh, I want to drag it onto one of these things. Nice. I might change these curves as well. Set ease type dot in. I'm trying to make it stay on the color for longer rather than white. I think I did it wrong. Let's try out. Let's try out. Yeah, so it definitely lingers on the solid color faster than it lingers on white, or more than it lingers on white. Yeah, I think I like that. Then the animation is nice. Perfect. That looks much better than what I had before. Perfect. I think it's looking good. Thank you, Emerson. I appreciate that. All right. Black screen. I'm going to commit that. Let's see. Well, let me try it. Let me do something here. Fix missing cannon, goblin, and graveyard. I'm just splitting these up into separate commits so they don't get all mixed together. Probably shouldn't. I probably should save this shader. Save as, resources, shaders, marching ants. Okay, so that should get rid of that built-in shader. Perfect. Okay, or improve, drag and drop noticeability. All right, we'll commit those. Perfect. Improve visibility of drag and drop areas in Gunforge UI. Boom, done. I still have so many in progress cards that I need to drag over. Most of this is just sound effects. I did work through some of the sound effects yesterday, but man, I don't know what it is, but sound effects is like so tedious for me to do. I don't understand why, but yeah. Anyway, I don't really have anything else that I can get started with on the stream. So I've got some food on the way, but maybe what we'll do is I'll just go back into that third level until my food gets here. And I will just do some more playtesting. Because remember, yesterday I was playtesting this level. I was trying to get it so that the lobbers would spawn, and I wasn't playing very well. So I'm going to see if my skills have improved here. We'll just play through this third level, this work in progress third level. Okay, I know how to fight the crabs now. You got to keep your distance, and then you can get right up in their face. But after they go into their shells and they come out, you got to be careful. So I can get right up in their face here. Get right up in this guy's face. Yeah, that's the strategy, I think. Just keep your distance from the guys who are using their shells, and then... Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Has Blackthorn Prod ever asked you to be in a video, if you know who that is? No. Are you thinking about, like, the videos where he makes that are, like, you know, X amount of devs make a video game without communicating? I think he mostly works with Unity devs, so that's probably why. Maybe he's never even heard of me either. That's completely possible as well. So, no, he's never reached out to me, and I don't really expect him to. Nor have I actually ever had an interaction with him. So, I think we kind of occupy different niches, but... You're an indie developer salary, cook food, and save delivery costs. Well, I would go and get my own food, but it's snowing and I don't feel like driving and clearing off my car. So that's why I'm paying for the delivery right now. But you're right, I probably shouldn't. I mean, I gotta have my quarter pounder with cheese though, my double quarter pounder with cheese. Actually, so my philosophy actually is that food is like, I don't cut expenses with respect to food. So I actually still buy a lot of steak and fruit and nuts and stuff, even though that's probably the most expensive foods I could be buying. Food is the last item that I'm going to cut from my budget because I think it's really, really important to have good food. As I say, as I'm going to eat a double quarter pounder with cheese, but you know what I'm saying? Like having high quality food and being able to eat high quality food, tasty food, is such a quality of life improvement that it outweighs whatever monetary cost, in my opinion. Did you do the animations yourself? I did do the animations myself, yes. Instacart grocery delivers. I have had a grocery delivered. I live really close to the grocery store, so I shouldn't do that either, but I have done that too. I keep forgetting snow is the thing. I'm running the AC today. Yeah. It's so, like, it's really annoying to have to, like, start your car and, like, get it all warmed up, right? So that the snow all melts, and then you got to go outside and scrape it off, and you got to put on all your snow gear, right? And then, of course, you have to deal with the stress of driving on a road that maybe hasn't been plowed for a while. It's just like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that if I don't have to. Ooh, there we go. Okay, that's kind of a bad bullet pattern, but we'll work with it. Okay, we got some gnomes now. Okay, those spiral bullets are so annoying. They have maybe a little bit too much range, but that's all right. Okay. I might turn down the range of those bullets a little bit. Dodgeball. Deal 25% increased damage for every wave you don't take damage. Bonus resets upon taking damage. I'm going to take this one only because I want to see if I can see the current bonus. Yeah, current bonus. Awesome. Alright. Boom. Oil receiver. Nice. That's a straight upgrade, so might as well do that. Actually, is it? No, I actually want to keep the poison, I think. This is a straight upgrade. Yeah, that's good. And I get bullet split. So I can create lots of bullets. Look at that. Look how many bullets are created when I do this. Goodness, I hope that doesn't hit the FPS in any meaningful way. I'd like to see the snow someday, but living with it every day probably isn't that great. Well, it's not every day. It's just like a couple months out of the year, you know? Will there be new maps? So 3 maps is all that I'm thinking of releasing with. So it's going to be the dungeon, the graveyard, and the this cave level. So I don't have any plans right now to add more maps than that. But you know, it's always possible. Like if Gunforge is very popular and people want more content, then it makes financial sense to do so. I may do that, you know. I'm not opposed to that at all. It's just I have to get the game out, start getting some sales, start getting some feedback, reviews, and then I'll just go from there. We'll see what happens. Glass cannon. Let's do zap instead. I don't think I can afford glass cannon in my current state. Okay. Thunderstorm? No, I don't. Well, actually, I may end up taking this. Clear nearby bullets on dash. I'm going to do that because that's going to be very useful. Watch this. So when the crabs come out, boom! Just delete all those. Oh, I dashed too early. I probably should have waited a little bit. Eesh, I almost died. Getting right up. Oh no, I'm so bad at this level. Maybe this level's a little bit too hard. I'm gonna try, let me go into my gnome here. Gnome, what's my range? 250. I'm going to turn that down quite substantially. Let's try 150 for the range instead. Those hover just a little bit too long in the air. Yeah, that seems much better to me. Everything's a little bit tankier too compared to the previous two levels, but like I said, I think that's fine because there's going to be, by this point you should be able to customize your starting guns, and so you should be able to get stuff that's stronger. Oh, my order's already here. Alright, well, I should probably go pick up my food before it gets cold out in the ice and snow. But thank you all for watching. That's going to be it for the stream today. Very much appreciate it. Reduce range of gnome. Again, if you'd like to support my work, please check out the links in the description below. All of my socials are there. All of my, Udemy courses. So if you want to learn how to build a complete game in the Godot engine, you can check out my Udemy courses. I've got C# and GDScript available. And yeah, you can sign up for my email newsletter. I think I'm going to write an email newsletter post today because I'm late on that. So I'm probably going to do that. So sign up there at firebelly.com. And of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch my other videos. If you're curious how far Gunforged has come, one thing that you can do that you might be interested in is go to my devlogs playlist and look for the earliest versions of Gunforged. I used to call it Gun Game. And you can see how different the game was several years ago. So that might be something fun for you to do if you're interested. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Very much appreciate your support. Thank you again, Snup Bill, for the super chat. And I hope I'll see you all in the next stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, of course. All right. Talk to you later, everyone. Have a good day.